Have you ever wondered what truly lurks in the hidden corners of the internet? Beyond the websites we use every day, there's a place called the deep web. It's a vast, unindexed part of the internet. And while it's used for many legitimate reasons, it's also home to some of the most unsettling stories you'll ever hear. Today, I'm going to tell you one of them. This isn't a fictional creepypasta. This is a story that has been pieced together from forum posts, chat logs, and digital breadcrumbs left behind by someone who went looking for something they shouldn't have. Our story begins with a college student we'll call Alex. Alex was a computer science major. Fascinated by cybersecurity and the hidden architecture of the internet, like many in his field, he was curious about the deep web. He'd read all the sensationalized stories, but he wanted to see it for himself, purely from a technical standpoint. Or so he told himself. He downloaded the Tor browser, took all the necessary precautions, and descended into the digital abyss. At first, it was mostly what he expected. A lot of dead links, strange forums, and marketplaces. It was chaotic and disorganized. But Alex was persistent. He spent weeks lurking, observing, and learning the unspoken rules of this hidden world. He started to notice patterns, certain symbols and phrases that would pop up in seemingly unrelated chat rooms and forums. It was like a secret language, and his curiosity was piqued. He began documenting these symbols, trying to crack the code. One symbol in particular caught his attention. It was a simple geometric shape, a circle with 3 intersecting lines. He saw it everywhere, from encrypted message boards discussing philosophy to hidden marketplaces. It seemed to be a calling card for a specific group, but no one would talk about them openly. Whenever he asked about the symbol, he was met with silence, or sometimes a cryptic warning to stop digging. Of course, this only made him more determined. Alex decided to change his approach. Instead of asking directly, he started using the symbol himself. He'd drop it into his posts, hoping to attract the attention of someone in the know. For weeks, nothing happened. He was about to give up, thinking it was just some meaningless inside joke. Then one night, he received a private message. It was from a user with a long, randomized alphanumeric name. The message contained only a single string of code and a set of coordinates. His heart pounded in his chest. This was it. The breakthrough he'd been waiting for. Being a coding expert, Alex immediately recognized the string of code. It wasn't just random characters. It was a sophisticated cipher. He spent the entire night working on it, his excitement battling with a growing sense of unease. As the sun began to rise, he finally cracked it. The decrypted message was chillingly simple. We see you. Prove your worth. The coordinates pointed to a remote location in a national forest, about a 3-hour drive from his campus. This was a major escalation. It was one thing to explore the digital world from the safety of his dorm room, but another entirely to go to a physical location given to him by an anonymous, shadowy group from the deep web. Every rational part of his brain screamed at him to stop, to delete everything and never look back. But the part of him that was driven by curiosity, the part that had led him this far, couldn't let it go. He felt like he was on the verge of uncovering something huge. He convinced himself it was probably just an elaborate game, a test for new members, a sort of real-world scavenger hunt. He told his roommate he was going camping for the weekend, packed a bag with supplies, a GPS device, and a powerful flashlight, and set off. The drive to the forest was tense. With every mile that separated him from the city, his anxiety grew. The signal on his phone disappeared as he drove deeper into the woods, following the winding dirt roads. He parked his car where the road ended and checked the GPS. The coordinates were about 2 miles further. Deep within the trees, it was late afternoon, and the dense canopy of leaves was already casting long, dark shadows. As Alex hiked into the forest, an eerie silence enveloped him. There were no birds chirping, no sounds of wildlife, just the crunch of his own footsteps on the fallen leaves. It felt unnatural, like the entire forest was holding its breath. He followed the GPS, his eyes darting around, scanning the trees. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Finally, his GPS indicated he had arrived. He looked around confused. There was nothing there, just a small, unremarkable clearing in the middle of the woods. No sign, no marker, nothing. Was this a prank? A wild goose chase to mock the curious newcomer? Disappointment and frustration washed over him. He was about to turn back when he noticed something on the ground. Half buried under the leaves was a small wooden box. It was old and weathered. Carved onto the lid was the very same symbol he had been chasing, the circle with the 3 intersecting lines. His hands trembled as he brushed the dirt away and lifted the lid. Inside, there was a single item, a tarnished silver locket. He opened the locket. On one side was a faded black and white photograph of a young woman he didn't recognize. On the other side, instead of another picture, there was a tiny, tightly folded piece of paper. Fumbling fingers, he unfolded it. On it was a single handwritten word, "Run." A cold dread washed over him, so intense it felt like ice in his veins. At that exact moment, he heard a sound, twigs snapping behind him. He spun around, his flashlight beam cutting through the deepening twilight. He saw nothing but trees and shadows. But he knew with absolute certainty that he was no longer alone. He didn't wait to see who or what was there, he just ran. Scrambled through the undergrowth, branches scratching his face and arms, his lungs burning. He didn't dare look back. The feeling of being pursued was overwhelming, a primal fear he had never experienced before. He could hear footsteps behind him, keeping pace, sometimes sounding like one person, sometimes like several. He ran blindly, fueled by pure adrenaline, praying he was heading in the right direction. After what felt like an eternity, he burst out of the tree line and saw his car. He fumbled for his keys, his hands shaking so violently he could barely get the key in the lock. He threw himself inside, locked the doors, and slammed his foot on the gas. He didn't slow down until he was back on the main highway, the lights of civilization a welcome sight. Alex never went back on the deep web. He wiped his hard drive, changed all his online accounts, and tried to forget what had happened. But he couldn't. He was haunted by the woman in the locket and the single terrifying word. Who was she? Was she a victim? A warning? And who were the people in the forest? What was the worth he was supposed to prove? Was he the hunter, or was he meant to be the hunted? He never found the answers. The silver locket, which he had shoved into his pocket in his panic, was his only proof that the event was real. The story of Alex serves as a chilling reminder. The internet is not a game. When you stare into the abyss, sometimes the abyss stares back, and sometimes it follows you home. There are doors that should never be opened, and secrets that are best left buried in the dark. Watch the next story if you dare.